Well, hey, everybody. Hey, it's only 12 minutes in, and the Cryptid Huntress just got her internet back on. So, what's up, everybody? Hey, Robby. Thank everybody
Hey,
for being
Jessica.
here today. Well, that was quite a snafu. I had to call my internet company, and there was an outage on my street. Okay, right when the show started today. So, hey, welcome everybody.
That's what happened to me the other night.
I
On
am. You know what? This is out of this world. I'm sorry I didn't do my actual usual intro, and yeah, we're gonna have to everybody fast forward to 12 minutes in today to get this show. So welcome to the show, everybody. Oh my God, this is not the first time this has happened, Robby. This is so wild, right?
yeah,
Usually
happened to
it's
me the
like
other night on
it's like
DAX Machina. It was about
I remember
45
that.
minutes before I was able to get into the show.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was weird because right after I got on the phone with Comcast. It's Comcast, y'all. It's Xfinity. I'm not real happy with them, but they said that a technician was on my street or in my area, and then it magically came back on, just magically. But anyways, well, everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Robby Raines. Robby is a good friend of mine. He's like one of my besties now because we got to hang out this weekend, right, Robby?
Yep, sure
That
did.
was fun. Yes. Yeah, we had Jeff Townsend's in the chat. What's up, Jeff? Jeff was at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference this weekend with us. And we had such a good time. I mean, I know I did, Robby. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I had a real good time.
Yes, that was awesome. Really good time, but it was not just that conference that was fun. You and I went scouting for a little while on Friday up in the mountains. So yeah, thanks. I want to thank everybody for sticking around. By the way, everybody in the chat. Let me pull up some of these comments. I know y'all are like, "Where is Jessica?" And I hope that my face wasn't frozen on the screen. I really
No,
pray it wasn't.
it was your title screen, the Cryptid Huntress.
Oh, good. Okay, at least it wasn't my blurred out crazy face with me cussing. Okay, because I was cussing. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely saying some cuss words. But yeah, Toombs, thank you so much for being there and for letting everybody know that I was having computer gremlins. Gremlins is what we call those, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyways, I have to like collect myself right now, okay? Because that was quite an adventure. I'm sweaty. But yeah, if I didn't mention to everybody watching today, Robby Raines is a podcast host at DAX Machina, and he has his own podcast. It's called What's Really Out There. So y'all please go subscribe to both of those on YouTube and listen to those wherever you listen to your podcast. Because they are both amazing. And I got to admit, I'm usually hopping onto my show on Saturday nights at Spaced Out Radio, listening to your show, Robby. And as soon as I get off my show, I log back in. I listen to y'all again. So
Yeah, we're on long enough for a lot of people can catch us in between and
you are.
before and after.
That's right. Yeah, it's actually, and I want to thank Amy too for sending me a text message. Amy, I saw your message. Thank you. Everything is fine. Everything's fine. See, Robby, people actually kind of worry about us, like when we go off air, because we're talking about such weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They think that maybe we got sucked up by the aliens or something, perhaps,
Well,
and we
I told
might. Who
I
knows?
told you before we started going on what happened to us last night, recording one of our episodes.
Yes. Finish telling me
Everything
about
just
that. I totally interrupted you on that one. What
well,
happened?
we were recording one of our episodes to put out, and just in the middle of we're not on the internet at all. We're just recording. We just got our recording equipment up there, and Johnny wasn't with us last night, so but another buddy of mine, Steve, was sitting in. He was filling in for Johnny, and so Norm, Steve, and I were talking about the show topic. And I don't want to get into the show topic because it'll be released probably in another week or so.
It's a
But
surprise, huh? You
just
gonna keep us holding our breath?
midway through the show, we were having a good discussion, and all of a sudden everything just stopped. Nobody was touching anything. We weren't connected to the internet. It just stops. Never done that before. In all 20 of our or 30 of our shows, that's never happened, and it just stopped. But it just happened to be that what we were discussing is one of them sensitive matters.
Sensitive matters.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
we got bleeped.
Well, that happens. That happens pretty often, and a lot of us are complaining about it now. Could it just be really crappy internet service? Totally, could
Well,
be.
we weren't using the
But
internet though. That's
oh,
yeah, we were just recording.
oh wow. See,
What's up,
well,
Toombs?
yeah. Toombs, thank you so much again, and hey, Jeff. Uh, yeah, this is awesome. Greetings from all over the U.S. and beyond. I think we got some people from other countries in here. Like, I don't think Jorgen's in here yet. I can't ever forget Sweden, but UK and Australia. You guys are the best. So, yeah, there's a reason that perhaps there's a reason that somebody they don't want words, stuff to get out, especially with encounters like you and I had this weekend. Man, we had something really really crazy happen. It
Yeah.
wasn't super crazy, but it was just intense, right? On Friday
Oh,
night.
it was definitely intense. It's
Yeah.
I've had sort of the same thing happen during the day, but it's nothing. It doesn't feel the same during the day as it does at night when
Right.
it's pitch black and you can't really see what's going on. That makes it a little bit more edgy.
A little edgy. That's a good word to describe it. Edgy. Edgy.
Edgy,
Yeah.
sketchy, whatever you want to call it. It
Sketchy,
was
creepy, a little creepy. Well, okay, so let's do a little recap of what happened and what we're talking about, so the audience has an idea. So on Friday, we went up to North Georgia where they had the Georgia Bigfoot Conference, and I met Robby up there. And we had a few of us that were all staying we actually stayed in I guess you call it I was going to say a hotel, but I think it was maybe a
more
step
of a
down
motel.
from a hotel. It was about a step down or two from a hotel, or four, but it was nice. It wasn't bad. It had a shower. Okay, and I'm not used to having a shower in a bed when I'm up there doing bigfooting. Okay, so it was okay with me, but anyways, we went up there and had like a meet and greet for the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. I was a presenter. I guess you can call it a presenter. I rambled for about an hour about Bigfoot stuff at the conference, but yeah, we had a meet and greet that night. So Robby, you and I met up early, and we decided we were going to go scouting, and I was going to take you to some good spots that I've had a lot of interesting encounters in. Okay, as far as Bigfoot and ET and things like that go. So, yeah, sweet. Yeah, so I had to yeah, went and hung out for a minute, and we hit the mountain, right, Robby?
Hmm.
And we had some beautiful scenery. It was really nice out there, and we kind of decided to kind of chill out and go back to the meet and greet. And like later that night, we were going to go and do some bigfooting, basically. After you had I'd shown you like the terrain and like kind of where we might go or whatever. The plan was to go back later that night if it wasn't raining, to do, like I said, some bigfooting, and just to kind of experience whatever was out there. And Robby, did that disappoint you at all? The activity that we had?
No, no, not at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't you tell the audience today, or tell me, kind of your experience and how it made you feel?
Well,
I feel like Dr. Phil right now. How did that make you feel, Robby?
well, let's see. No, actually, I mean it's actually probably one of the, with the exception of the actual sighting that I had when I was a kid, this was probably the most intense, and I call it fun. I mean,
It was fun.
you know, I'm the adrenaline junkie. I'm the guy that runs towards danger instead of away from it. Sometimes stupidly, but you yeah, we were out in the spot that you took us to, and it's a spot that that you've investigated plenty of times before. Um, and we're sitting there talking. Bugs were, chirping, chittering. Everything was going, just. I had almost to the point where I was like, we're probably not going to see or hear anything because we're out here. Because our conversation was having to get louder talk over the insects. So I
It
was,
was really loud too. Like
yeah,
it was like deafening loud at some point, and it sounded like it was just right in front of us, like the
yeah,
crickets.
and
Yeah.
it was like somebody was gradually turning the volume up on them because they were just getting louder and louder. So we were probably out there. I don't know what you say, about 20 minutes talking. So the insects were not bothered by us and our conversation at all.
No.
And as we're talking, and the insects are getting a little bit louder and louder, and louder and louder and louder, all of a sudden it's like somebody just cut a light switch off, and it went dead silent. Dead silent. I mean, imagine just going from like, 150 decibel concert to absolutely nothing in the split second.
Yeah.
And everything was just like so. And we started looking at each other. We immediately shut up as soon as they did, and started looking at each other. And I was like, hmm. And I was looking one direction, you were looking the other direction, and I think I pointed because I don't know if I saw movement or what it was, but something like over your shoulder I felt like was moving up towards us. But it just as I did that, you started looking over my shoulder, and you felt like there was something coming up behind me on the other side.
Again.
So
Yes.
as I'm looking this way and you're looking that way, then I think you turn and look back down towards, because we're probably about 100 yards away from your car, maybe, give or take. You looked down and you felt like you felt something or was moving around down there. So it was almost like we were being surrounded. When it wasn't almost, we were, we were being surrounded by whatever was out there. See what I did there?
Whatever
What's
it
really out
was.
there.
What's really out there? That's right.
So we kind of, we were whispering at that point, and we both kind of made the decision that not that we felt like we were in any kind of danger at that particular moment, but we
But
did feel like it was smarter to get down towards the car so we didn't get cut off from the vehicle just in case something changed.
well, I was hearing something down by the truck, so
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was like once I knew I felt there was something right in front of me and then over to my right, and it was your back was facing that way, and I could feel there were at least two, let's just call them beings. There's something we can say Sasquatch, maybe, perhaps.
Well, that's what I feel like
They
it
were
was.
creeping up like behind you that way, and then there was something rustling around by my truck down at the bottom, like down a ways from us. So I knew we were being surrounded at that point.
So like I said, we make the decision that, to get back down to your truck just so we don't get cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So we get down by the truck and we stay there another 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. I can't remember exactly how much time it was. But anyways, I turned and was looking back you were looking back in the direction that you heard something behind the vehicle, I think, or around the vehicle. And I was looking back up the hill where we were just standing. And as I'm looking up there, I see a shadow. Don't know if it was right where we were or no woo. This was
It was strictly kind of Sasquatchy, other than some
yeah.
like orbs or lights that I saw. But I didn't even tell
I didn't,
Robbie because I knew. Well, I should have told him. I did tell you there were lights. I thought I saw lights,
yeah.
but see the thing about that is lights can be anything. At the point to where we were looking up, it could be stars through the trees. So I don't make a big deal about those things a lot of times. So I don't know. We had other stuff going on. It
Yeah.
was a little more
But
Sasquatchy.
as I look up, I see a shadow, big shadow. I can't say how tall it was, but it was big. It was big enough for us to see it. And I don't know if it
Yes.
was if it walked across right where we were at, or if it was in that tree line. But there was a big shadow that walked straight across in front of us.
Yeah.
Because you were starting to say something. Now I think I went really quiet,
You tell me to shush.
and I pointed up and I don't know if you saw it because it had already kind of made it across its zenith or whatever you want. It was already almost to the point where it stopped. So, and I pointed up the top of the hill, and I told you what I saw, but I didn't know if you ever. I don't think I even asked you if you ever actually saw it.
I had been seeing a figure in the tree line, right where the trees were. But see, what you saw was something walking where we had been standing in the exact spot where we had been standing for all that time. And what I saw was more up in the tree line. So it may have been two different ones because I did detect at least two. And we were it was there. It was definitely there. What creeped me out more was the one down by the truck though. And so when you see one or you know there's one there, there's usually a lot more. They're usually all around. But I mean, did you ever feel like you were in danger really bad, or what were you
No,
feeling?
I and I try not to judge off just off me because, like I said, I've got that adrenaline junkie, that whatever you want to call it. I and pardon the pun, tombstone courage. Sometimes is what people call it.
Yeah,
Uh, and until something happens to change that, that's probably the way I'm always going to be. It was more exhilarating to me than it was scary. You put somebody else in that position, and may have been scared out of their minds. You know,
yeah,
I felt like we needed to be cautious, just because I didn't want to get caught in a situation where it would put us in any kind of bad situation or dangerous situation. But I didn't feel personally like we were in any kind of major danger. That wasn't like they were, they weren't throwing anything at us. They weren't hooting and hollering like any kind of territorial displays. I felt like it was just curiosity at that point. I don't feel like it was anything other than they had, because the way they came up on us, you know, it was really sudden. So it wasn't like they had been sitting there for a while and let the insects get, is because the insects, sometimes if something moves in an area, you kind of hear like a wave. It'll stop over here, and it'll still be going, and all of a sudden it'll gradually go to where it stops. It was like everything stopped at once. So wherever they came up pretty quick. So I don't think it was. I think it was just they might have been moving along and heard us talking and kind of come up the top of the hill. And as they got up the top of the hill, that's when the insect sensed it, and
I think they knew. They listen. In my experience, they know when you're coming. They knew we were there, and I think it was just a matter of them letting us get comfortable, and then they let themselves be known. I think that's what it was. That's yes. This hold on. This is oh yeah. It was this past weekend. Yeah, the Strange Road. What's up, fellas? Y'all are awesome.
okay, Bubs. See y'all tonight,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna be on DAX
Yep,
Machina
they'll be on with us
tonight.
tonight.
Oh, I will so be there in that chat. I am so excited about that. Some of my favorite fellas right there. Okay,
Yep,
all
just
y'all.
past weekend, guys. I'll,
Yeah, it was Friday
I'm
night.
sure we'll probably talk about it again tonight on the show because I didn't really get a chance to talk about it good on the show last Saturday night. So
Because you were having internet problems,
yeah,
right? I don't know what's going on with this internet stuff. But oh well. Okay, so let's talk about the crickets just going deaf, like deafening silent. Okay, now you are a hunter and a tracker. What does that mean exactly for people in the audience who aren't familiar with the bugs
that
getting
means
quiet like that?
that means there was a big predator in the area, and that's why I clarified that earlier, or saying that you know they didn't care that we were there. They didn't view us as anything that was going to hurt them. They were
The
just
crickets.
they were going making their noises and doing what they normally do with me and you there talking. They don't stop. Things don't. It's just the same thing. Same way with birds and other animals during the day. Like I said, I've had that happen during the daytime, but it's not quite as ominous during the day as it is.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know that I've had it happen that sudden, because that was pretty freaking sudden. I mean, that was just like,
It was shockingly sudden.
yeah, because it was just and they never stopped. We were there probably 15, 20 more minutes after they stopped. They never started back up.
Mm-mm.
So whatever got them to stop stayed in the area,
Yeah,
because
it
that's usually
did.
the way you tell if there's a big predator in the area, is everything just goes quiet.
Yeah,
And I don't, if it'd been a mountain lion, we would have known, because it would have made itself known. You'd have heard something. We didn't hear anything except the silence.
yeah.
If it'd been bear, we'd have heard something, because bears would have
They would have
huffed and
grunted or
growled or
something.
grunted or something like that,
Broke twigs, broken
especially if
twigs.
it was a
Excuse me.
territorial thing. So whatever it was specifically trying to be quiet, and was doing a really good job of it.
Very.
Uh, I don't think it was. any wolves or anything like that. 'Cause any kind of other animal like that, I think we would have heard. We would have heard
Yeah.
some kind of sound or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we ever. You may have heard something down by the car,
Mm-hmm.
but I never actually heard
Mm-hmm.
anything other than the bugs go silent. And I got the being in the woods and being a police officer, you get that feeling. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I knew something was there watching. It's just that feeling you get. Uh, and I had that feeling the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually had goosebumps all over my body right after the crickets stopped chirping. Your body is a very good detector. Okay, if you just
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to it, when you get the goosebumps on the top of your head, the back of your neck, all over your body, you can just feel the presence there.
Mm-hmm.
You feel something's off. It's important if you're going to be out there doing bigfooting to know what's out there, what's really out there. It's just to know. First of all, you need to know the predators in the area. There's potential bears, mountain lions, all sorts of there's all sorts of stuff that could be creeping around. But knowing that area, I know that there are Sasquatch up there, and potential, like, we've had some other stuff happen, maybe some like ET activity and things like that. As a matter of fact, Bob Wilson, hey Grumpy, you got to meet Bob Robby at the
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Bigfoot Conference. So thank you for being here, Bob Grumpy. But yeah, there's all sorts of activity up there in the North Georgia mountains, y'all. I'm telling you, there's so much more activity than you'd ever realize when it comes to Bigfoots up in those mountains. So I think you got a really good dose of that this weekend, and I think it was great they didn't scream at us and run us out of there. But Marty, I did see your question. I didn't pull it up on the screen, but yeah, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So, but anyways, yes. So we had a good time. I'd never felt like I was in danger. Well, plus I had a police officer with me, so I knew that I was in good hands if something were to happen out there, and yeah, and I was protecting you too, Robby. So
I appreciate it.
yeah, I was protecting you too. Don't worry, I got your back. So but yeah, if I had felt as though we had been put in danger, I wouldn't have taken you there. So but yeah, I am so. Oh my gosh, thank you, the Strange Road. Oh my gosh, that is so sweet. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Everybody, please go subscribe to the Strange Road on YouTube, and definitely follow them on social media. Oh my gosh, they are amazing as far as just the content and the conversations. And I have been on their show, and Robby, yep, they've been on DA Ex Machina,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna be on there tonight. So
Yep.
y'all please follow them. Listen to them on the podcast format. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to get the Strange Road out in the woods sometimes. Maybe they like to go Bigfooting with us. But yeah, oh, we've got some comments in here. Anytime your gut tells you something is off, write it down immediately. Write what's going on, how you feel, and all the details. They may seem insignificant, but the truth will always reveal itself. That is so true, YJ Overlander. 100%. Always pay attention to everything that's going on around you. Like, I don't usually have time to write it down when it's happening. But like maybe like after the experience, it's good to keep a journal, especially if you're researching out in the field. So I highly recommend that. And so YJ Overlander knows what's up. Absolutely. Yeah. What kind of precautions do you take out there before you go out into the field, Robby? Do you like I do like a spiritual protection personally, okay, before I go out, and because I feel like there's a connection. It's more energetic than just about anything. I think that's why the Bigfoots knew we were coming out there, because I do put that out there. Hey, I'm coming. I'm coming out to the field. Let's do this. Y'all come out and say hey. What do you do? Do you prepare anything when you go out in the field?
Well, nothing like what you're talking about. I mean, I'm a
You're not
Christian.
into that woo
No,
stuff, huh?
I just, I say a little prayer. Lord, you know my heart. If it
Well, that's
protect me,
good.
if that's, but if it is, if it is the time, just, so that's.
Are you scared? You don't get scared out there, right? You're kind of like me. Like I honestly, Were you surprised that I wasn't super scared out there when all that was happening?
No,
How did
not
you feel
really. I
about
mean,
that? You weren't
I,
shocked, were you?
no, I mean, I've talked to you enough to know that you being a cop for 26 and a half years, you can tell when somebody is shooting you a line or somebody's, and I could tell that you weren't BSing, so to speak, that about getting out there. So I mean, it wasn't. It probably would have surprised me more if you took off running than it did that you didn't take off running. So
I don't ever run. I would never run.
I don't
Uh,
either. That's because I can't run
I don't
anymore. So.
run. No, I would. Yeah, it was, but it's a good time out there. Yeah, and saying a prayer, I do the same. Because we really don't know what's going on out there, and there's so many things that can potentially hurt us. But I've been doing this for long enough that nothing's gotten me yet. So. I feel pretty grounded when I go out there. I think it's important that we get grounded and just prepare for whatever. And it's also part of being inoculated to all the high strangeness out there. Uh, you know, uh, you didn't get to experience a whole lot of the supernatural element of what we experience out there, but it was still a great experience. But some people say Bigfoot is supernatural. Period. So. YJ Overlander, thank you for helping me keep the lights on. You're the best. Maybe I can get a better internet company too with that. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Y'all support means the world to me, everybody. But yeah, I yeah. So we did explore those woods pretty good though, right? And the roads were all washed out.
Yeah, there's
And
some.
I think I brought a stick home underneath my truck too. I think I had a
Yeah,
stick, and
it
I
would
thought
surprise me.
I thought that I had knocked something loose underneath something in my axle or something. I wasn't sure what was going on, and my son climbed up underneath there yesterday and pulled a big old stick out,
Yeah, there was
and it
some
quit
sketchy.
making that
There were some
noise.
sketchy places that we had to
Yeah,
go over.
that's right. That's right. But hey, it's fun, right? And I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I wouldn't trade it for anything. Now, Robbie, this is a good question for you. Have you ever been visited by a Bigfoot in your dreams? We've been talking about our dreams past couple of days. I've told you about some
I
weird ones
mean,
I had.
I've I, I'm sure I've had dreams of, but I don't think I've been visited. I mean, but there again, I don't. That's I'm not saying all this stuff is not, but that's not what I prescribe to. I'm the guy that says that this is just an animal in the woods. It's a very smart animal, but like with the adaptive camouflage and the backtracking and all that stuff. That's what I prescribe to, and I don't say that my way is the right way or anything like that. That's just what I believe because everything that I've ever been shown, even like our encounter the other night, that just showed me an animal, a very smart animal, but an animal. That's just
An
what I
animal. Well,
believe.
well, some people say that they're like kind of like humans. They're just a race of forest people, is the
Yeah,
consensus from what most people say.
there's
Big old hairy forest people.
there's people that believe the New York Jets are a good football team too.
Oh
Doesn't mean they're
man.
right.
Oh man. Oh Robbie. Lord have mercy. All right. No shade. No shade.
No, I
Um,
mean, but it's that's the thing.
you're so
Just
funny.
because somebody has pulls for one football team that's not hadn't gone to the Super Bowl doesn't mean that they're wrong for pulling for that team. Just
That's
like
right.
I don't believe that in the woo, as everybody likes to say, but that doesn't mean that those people are wrong. Doesn't mean I'm wrong because there is not
Hmm.
an expert in this field. I don't care what anybody says. They're trying to sell snake oil if they tell you they know that they know all the ways and that their way is the right way because nobody knows.
That's
Everybody,
right.
it's all theory and conjecture. So what my opinion is my opinion. I'm not trying to force my opinion on anybody else, and that's where I get
Right.
kind of ill when other people try to, get so ill. Like, fine, have your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. It doesn't hurt me or hurt my feelings at all if you disagree with my opinion. That's
That's
just
right. I can appreciate that. I mean, you and I have had some pretty good conversations. You know that my experience has been different from your experience.
mhm.
So, but we can joke around about it and discuss it. I don't get upset at anybody's opinions, or I don't even get upset about people's opinions of me. Not anymore. So,
No, I mean,
but I love having good conversations, and in the end, it doesn't really matter what either of us believe. We're just going to go out there and have a good time looking for
yeah,
Bigfoot, anyways,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and Anthony and I both have said this many times. If some because he and I are the two really that because Doc's had paranormal experience and DA's had a few paranormal. Anthony and I have never had anything like that, but we're both. If something like that happens to us, we'll be the first to say, "Oh, okay, yeah, it happened." But it hasn't happened, and that's all I've ever seen is that. So
Okay. Well, we have a question, Robbie, and I'm going to let you answer this. Has anyone ever been attacked by a Bigfoot, or do they just scare people away? What do you think?
well, I would say, and Mikey and Bubs can probably speak on this too. I think the Ape Canyon is probably a very because not just that story where the gold miners, but there's been several. Like there's a skier, a cross country skier that was. I mean, I'm not saying that this was a novice. This guy was like an expert. I think he was probably somebody that got taken and attacked. The miners in the Ape Canyon, that little cabin that they were in. I think they were pretty much attacked. There's
a lot of attacks. I mean, look up Portlock, Alaska, Port
Yep.
Chatham, Alaska. People were killed by Sasquatches up there.
Fred was involved in an attack. Yeah, he was attacked.
That's right. It was very much like Ape Canyon, but in Alaska.
Yeah, and that Fred will tell you that's a different area up there. I mean, they're not. It's not like where you and I were at, where they were just curious.
Yeah.
A lot of them are out to get you up there.
Yes.
And so, but another thing, a theory that we've kind of started working on is if you overlay all the missing 411s with all the cave systems, with all the Bigfoot sightings, they all match up pretty good. So I believe that lends to DA's theory that there's not just one. They're not just the Harry and the Henderson type Bigfoots out there, like that are nice that you see that want to help you or want to be. What does Gugway translate as?
Face eater.
That ain't a nice, cute, little, friendly, cuddly, want to give you a hug. You don't translate.
That's a bath salts in Florida kind of ordeal right there.
You don't call something a face eater because it wants to give you a hug. I mean,
right.
It gets that name because it tries to eat your face off, and probably, at the Genosqua. You can ask Ryan about that. I mean, that species almost eradicated an entire First Nations tribe. So they're not all cute and cuddly.
They're not. You know what? And I actually caught a little bit of slack when I first started. Really, people saw that I was not scared to talk about Sasquatch being violent. Okay, and because I know they are and they can be, and I was actually warned by several people, maybe a couple, to be careful how I talked about it because they said they were worried I was going to get attacked online by people. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to not talk about what I know, and because people do need to be aware that these beings are not all cuddly. Yeah. They're not there to be. Nice to you. If you encroach on their territory, I've seen over and over again, they will attack you. At least run you out of there. And the ones in Alaska will definitely eat you. Okay, so, but I think that also has something to do with perhaps all that weather manipulation going on up there. I know back when Portlock, everybody ran off from there. They didn't have HARP up there back then, I'm sure. But for whatever reason, the animal life is a little more violent against humans up there, and that includes the Sasquatch. So, who knows? But yeah, I did not feel super threatened the other night, and it ended up being pretty fun. And they didn't really scare us away. We just kind of left. So it wasn't like we were scared, but we just knew. And it was raining. The rain started coming in, but then the rain never hit, which was weird. I noticed that too. Well, let's talk a little bit about. Oh, wait, I do have a picture. Can I pull this picture up, Robbie? Do you mind? I think I have a picture of us when we were about to go do some scouting that day. This is me and Robbie, y'all. We were in the truck heading out, and look what we saw. Now, I did pull up one picture. What is this of? Hold on. We saw some turkeys. That's about all we saw that day. We saw a turkey. I don't know if you can even see it. Let me hide that comment. We saw some turkeys. And so that was pretty much the extent of what we had there. Now, I did run into the mascot of the Bigfoot conference. This kid in a ghillie suit was running around, He sure was cute. He might have been my son. Okay, so that's my son. You can't see him; he's camouflaged. But I just wanted to show that picture. My son was in a ghillie suit. I think you missed that, Robbie. I don't know. He put that on
Yeah,
after you left.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to get back
So
home so I could get ready for the show
yes,
that night.
you had a show. Well, tell me your thoughts on the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. How was that? It's because they're all the before you say anything, the speakers were all more on the woo side for sure. Okay, for sure. And I did notice that, and I tried to kind of reel it in a little bit when I talked.
I enjoyed yours, and I enjoyed
Thank
Ryan's
you.
for sure.
Oh, Ryan was there. That's right,
Yeah,
Ryan Trimbley.
uh,
Right.
yeah,
He did a remote. He was on online and gave a
yeah.
presentation. That was amazing.
So I definitely enjoyed yours and Ryan's. I didn't get to hear
Thank
Matt, so
you.
I because he talked before we got there that morning, so I didn't get
Yes,
to hear his. So I don't know.
we may or
Um,
may not have been at Waffle House.
yeah,
When he
maybe,
was, that's right.
but
Yeah. So you
yeah,
enjoyed that. Okay. Well,
yeah. I
good.
mean, that's the first big one I've ever been to. But me and Anthony will be at the one in Ocala, April 22nd. So now at least I've got a, or a measure of what I'm looking at. And like I said, I don't. People's opinions are people's opinions. If there's
Yeah.
different than mine, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I'm not one of these that's going to sit there and fuss and yell and
Right.
you know holler at somebody because they say my opinion's stupid. I bet that it is what it is. I mean, if you think my opinion's stupid, great. It doesn't hurt me at all. I'm not going to get goaded into a heated argument. I'll state my opinion
Right.
and that's it.
Me too. Me too. I've learned to get a very thick skin, Robbie, and it's something that I didn't have before. I remember just
Well,
the thought of going online and talking in a camera in front of people scared the crap out of me because I knew that I'd be talking to the world and I'd get all this pushback for whatever I had to say, and that's why I didn't go public for so long about my research. But
well,
I got
being a
tough.
being a cop and a fireman, you learn really quick to have a thick skin because if not, you ain't gonna survive. So that's kind
Right.
of helped me with that. And so, like I said, if my opinion turns out to be right, great. If it turns out to be wrong, okay, then I was wrong. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Oh my gosh, I've missed so many comments, y'all. I'm so sorry. I see they were moving kind of fast a while ago. So Bob, Grumpy, yeah, he said the Bigfoots are omnivores. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's your time to be dinner. Now you said almost that exact same thing, okay, but in different terms. The night that we were out there in that field, Robbie, and you said that when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, right?
Hmm.
And I does that give you a little more confidence to like go out and be surrounded by Bigfoots and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't live my life being scared that you know. It's like people that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being healthy or taking care of yourself, but you know, don't get so caught up on that because you're not. One of my favorite lines from one of my favorite movies is The 13th Warrior, and Da and I quote this back and forth to each other all the time.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
the scaling of your life is already there. You're not going. You can go hide in a hole, or you can get out and live. You're not going to live one instant longer if you hide in a hole than you are if you're out doing living your life. So don't be afraid to live your life. Don't be afraid to go out and look for these things because you're gonna when it's your time to go. When the Lord calls you home, you're going. Whether you're
That's right.
sitting on your bed or you're out enjoying your life hunting Bigfoot. I mean, you're gonna go. You're gonna go. So I try not to live my life in fear, and you know, I want to enjoy the things that I want to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's what gives me comfort in knowing that when it's my time to go, it's my time to go, and I'm not scared to, and I know that sounds terrible, but I just know that we all come here with a mission and a purpose. I know I did, and I'm just now kind of learning what my mission could be. Okay, and so I know that there's certain things that I'm meant to do and experience this lifetime. So I have no fear. I have no fear. Well, I mean, I might have a little bit of fear, but you're not going to see it. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go out in the middle of the ocean
right.
and swim with a great white shark
Oh
without a
Lord,
cage.
no,
But
that's different.
you
That's
know,
different. I can't
because
see
if it
underneath my
is my
feet.
time to go, I don't want my time to go to be eaten alive by a shark. You know,
Yes.
yeah,
Thanks, Peter.
God
I
gave
will.
me God gave me common sense. And I know that if, but now by the same token, somebody might look at that and say, "Well, you're out in the woods, and Bigfoot could rip your arms and legs off." Well, yeah, but that's the chance that I take versus I just I guess to each his own is the best way to look at it that way.
Yeah. Well, not everybody is equipped or built to go out in the field in the woods to really have those experiences. But I think that the fact that you and I were able just to go out there and just stand and observe and wander around and really just kind of take it all in like we did. It must have attracted them to us in some way, I guess, because we were just chilling and we were. I think it was when we started laughing, and we were just not paying any attention at that point, and we were talking real loud at that point because those crickets were so loud, and that's when they came in and started surrounding us. So yes, Tony, what's up, Tony? Tony's part of my team. He said, if you're fearful, you should not be out there researching Sasquatch. That's true. That's very true, Tony. Tony has no fear. That's one man that has no fear. Neither does Grumpy. Grumpy's my other teammate in here today in the chat. So, and Robby, you have no fear. That's why I felt safe with you out there. And trust me, I don't take everybody out to that field. I don't take anybody anywhere. I've never taken anybody bigfooting at all. Marty and Matt went on an adventure with me, not a boss. But yeah, we don't. We just happen to be in a pretty active area. So yeah, no disappointments there.
Yeah,
Yeah. So tell me about your Bigfoot investigating. Do you go out and investigate Bigfoots where you live out in
yeah,
South Carolina?
yeah. We got one. It's not. I don't think it's as active as the area you're in, but I haven't been there at all when at least one small little thing didn't happen. Um,
Yeah.
and I've got another friend, and I can't really say much about him or because he's had to sign some NDAs and things like that. But
Oh, really?
he's got a lot of information, and he looked into the area, and there's a lot of sightings that I didn't even know about in and around that area. So it kind of makes me feel a lot better that we're not just it wasn't just happenstance, and it wasn't just you know I found footprints out there. Johnny and I have actually saw something. Don't know exactly what we saw because where it was at and the angle, but whatever we saw was alive. Then Norm and I were actually out there after we'd set up some trail cams, and something followed us a little ways out. Usually, once we get past that red gate, I guess that's a territorial thing. Nothing follows us past that, but this one time, and we pretty sure it was like a juvenile. We're sitting there talking, and this is about 30 or 40 yards past where we normally feel like we're being paced out of there. Something fell, like it was on a slope, kind of fell down. You hear it fall in the leaves and kind of slide down the hill a little ways. And as we started kind of going that direction, we heard another commotion over here back over on the other side of the gate. So we started walking over that way. As soon as we turned around and started walking that way, whatever fell down the hill jumped back up, ran up the hill, and ran back over that way. So there was a distraction that was caused on this side, so we didn't catch what was on this side.
They do
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah, that happens quite a bit. That's why I knew it was as soon as we were detecting that there was something creeping up behind you, in front of me, up there. I knew that there was more stuff going on all around us. I knew it. I knew it. And so when I detected that thing down by the truck, yeah. Lord forbid somebody I was talking to, I guess it was yesterday, was saying he sent me a video of like a Dogman or a Bigfoot, I guess, that somebody had just inadvertently filmed when they were out with their kids one day, and I think the phrase he used was mag dump or something. And I was like, yeah, but here's the thing: if you shoot one, and Grumpy will tell you this, Grumpy's in the chat today. If you shoot one of those beings, they're going to come after you, most likely. Something's going to come after you, okay? And I've heard stories of that. where they will try to, they will mess with you and come seek vengeance. Some of them will. So just be very careful. It's best not to shoot if you don't have to. Don't shoot anything if you don't have to. But always protect yourself when you're out in the field. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any plans to get back out in the woods anytime soon, Robby?
Yeah, actually, me and Norm were talking about that last night. Once it kind of warms up a little bit more, when we can get out there and stay without having to worry about so much rain or it being so cold, which is hopefully in the next week or so, or not next week or so, after I get back from Florida, rather. And this other guy that we've started hanging around with, he's one of those that goes out and camps for like 4 or 5 days. So we're trying to plan something where we actually go out there and camp for 4 or 5 days and stay out there. We're out there at night and during the day, see what we can find out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know my team's got some plans to get out in some of our spots and stuff over the next couple of months. I'm going to try my best to get back out. But I have got so many trips planned and projects I'm working on. Oh, man. But I definitely need to find time to get out there and do some research. Because, yeah, it's there's nothing like it. And I came home feeling pretty refreshed and feeling good. And I don't know if it's just the adrenaline rush from all that kind of stuff that happens, or just being in touch with nature. I think that's a beautiful thing. It's like we hit a reset button.
Yeah.
When we go out there. Yeah. So have you never seen an orb in the woods? You've never seen any orbs?
I've seen them on video, but I've never seen.
Okay. I just had to ask. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I've orbs out there.
I've seen plenty of videos of people showing them, but yeah. I've never seen one. Like I said, I've never had any kind of supernatural experience at all.
Yeah. Well, what about, okay, before we go today, what do you think about UFOs and ETs?
Well, if you'd asked me that question 2-3 years ago, I would have been, whatever. I don't believe in that. But now I think that there's something. I don't know what it is, but I think there's just too much. It's kind of like the argument that I use when people say that there's no such thing as Bigfoot. I'm like, well, there's too much evidence out there to point to it not being out there. And it's kind of sort of the feeling that I'm getting now about my stance on UFOs. There's just a lot of overwhelming evidence to sit there and say, nah, there's nothing out there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, the little green men from Mars or what, but I don't know if it's, time travelers from our future. Whatever it is, there's something out there. And I will concede to that fact that there is something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You have an open mind. I think that is, I think that's number one. Important. I think, especially if you're going to be, you're doing your podcast and things like that. I applaud you 100% for having an open mind to all this stuff. And I mean, you got a good dose of the woo hanging out with me this past weekend, especially being at that Bigfoot conference. That was pretty wild, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. Yeah. That was pretty wild. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that was new stuff to me.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that I believe in some of the stuff that I heard, but, like I said, everybody's got the right to their own opinion. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to back away from my opinion, but I'm also not going to, I'm not going to deny anybody else from having their opinion, because
that's right.
Opinions are like noses. Everybody's got one. They're all different.
Noses? I thought you were going to say something else.
No, I'm trying to be clean for your show.
Thank you. Yes, Brown Dwarf. What's up, Brown? That's my buddy. Orbs are a hot topic. That's true. Orbs and portals are a very hot topic. And I was actually blown away at all of the people at the conference and the people who were presenting who had stories about orbs and potential portals and things, because people are actually talking about this stuff now. And that's something that I've been talking about since the very beginning when I went public with some of my research. It's just been my experience, it's my team's experience. And so, yeah, it's becoming a little more mainstream. So Brown Dwarf, that's totally true. But to say that I was shocked, I was actually pretty shocked at all the presenters including even Matthew. We didn't get to hear Matthew's presentation, Matthew Delph, that morning, but we all have the experiences of having supernatural elements going on out in the field when we're out there Bigfooting. And I was really impressed with the crowd. Now, I got to tell you, Robby, after you left, we did another panel discussion that I sat on at the very end. And the people that were left, I think like half the people had already taken off that day. It was a long day. But I asked the question to the audience. I said, okay, so we have two camps. We have the primate in the woods camp, the ape camp, flesh and bone, and then we have the woo camp, with supernatural element and portals and interdimensionality. I said, raise your hand if you are in the primate camp. And do you know how many people raise their hands? 2. Okay, and so then I asked the other camp, and do you know how many people raise their hand? Everybody else. So, well, and not to say that some people didn't want to raise their hand, but
hearing some of the questions that I heard people ask, that doesn't really surprise me. I mean, because if I'd been there where my hand would have been up, there would have been
yes, exactly.
There'd have been more than 2. There'd have been 3 at least.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And and by that time, the people who were probably in the primate camp probably had already left the conference by that day. So, but yeah, it was really an enriching experience. It was a lot of fun. And yes, Laura, there's a lot of somethings out there for sure. And it's not just Bigfoot, in my opinion. So, but yeah, well, Robby, I can't believe that I didn't have internet for the first, 12 minutes of the show today?
About 12 minutes.
Oh, man. I just want to thank everybody for being here today and for sticking around and waiting for my internet to come back on today. That was an ordeal. I'm going to be switching internet companies here pretty soon, I think. I don't know what we're going to do with these internet companies, Robby. But anyways, okay, well, Robby, where can people find you? And tell us a little bit about your podcast.
They can find me on DAX Machina every Wednesday and Saturday night. And my podcast, What's Really Out There, on all the platforms, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, just all the main platforms with the exception of Apple Tunes or iTunes, whatever that is. They just want to, they're just too hard to get all the stuff they want. So
that's the one that I don't have mine on yet because it's just too, they make it difficult.
Yeah,
so that's the only one I don't have mine on yet.
I'm not on that one, but all the rest of them pretty much I'm on. And YouTube, What's Really Out There. That's the one that is the easiest. We've got a Facebook page, What's Really Out There. You can join that and watch all the episodes there. Norm usually make sure that that all the episodes are put on there. The AX Machina is on YouTube and Facebook as well. Email is what's really out there 2022@gmail.com. If you got a email, if you want to, if there's some kind of episode you want us to look into or some kind of thing you want us to look into for an episode. We're pretty much cryptid based for the most part, but we will look into other stuff. We just did a show on some other things that will probably be coming out in the next week or two. But we stick more to the cryptid stuff, than we do the other stuff. But it's pretty much it's all encompassing.
It is. Now you guys have a show tonight. What time is your show, and what are you guys going to be covering tonight?
Our time it'll be 9 o'clock, so I guess that's 8 o'clock Central, I think. Mm-hmm. Mikey and Bubs will be on there from Strange Road. Last time they were on, it was almost a 4.5 hour show. So, and I had to get off early because I had to work the next day. So tonight I don't have to work, or I don't have to work tomorrow. So I'm in for the long haul tonight. So
are y'all doing a 4-hour show tonight? That's a long one.
Last time they were on, we went. It was one of them things that just. So hopefully,
you know what? It was good content. And you guys didn't have a shortage of anything to talk about.
No,
so
those guys are great. They fit right in with the bunch of goofballs that we are. That's so. That's what everybody loves, the dynamic we have on our show. It's like we're just a bunch of old friends from high school just sitting around the campfire talking and telling stories. So they fit right in with us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a good time on their show as well. So, Those dudes are awesome. And so, yeah, everybody, please go check out DAX Machina tonight. I'll be there. I'll definitely be in the chat. And Robby, thank you so much for being here and recounting our stories from this weekend, because that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that weekend. So yeah, well, hey, okay, so I didn't get a chance to plug in the beginning of the show today because my internet was completely off, but I'm going to be in Las Vegas at the Spaced Out Radio Fan Party May the 19th through the 21st. So y'all please come see me. Oh my God, I just saw the celebrity lineup of all the people that are coming to be there with us, and I get to interview some of those people. We're going to be broadcasting live. Some of the biggest names in the UFO community are going to be there, and Bigfoot and Dogman, all that kind of stuff. So y'all please come hang out with us. And then I'm going to be in Grafton, Illinois at the Journey to Truth Conference. That's May the 22nd through the 25th. That's my birthday week, by the way. So y'all come hang out. That's going to be such a great time. So yeah, make plans to come see me on those two events. And actually, Robby, there were a couple of guys that were at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference that are going to be at that Illinois conference that I'm going to be speaking at. So we roll deep, man. We got a good community out there.
Well, and
really good people.
And I'll be at the Florida Bigfoot Conference in Ocala on April 22nd. Anthony and I will be there. So if anybody's going to be at that conference, come find us. We're not going to have a table or anything. We're just going to be kind of walking around because we were going to have a table, and then some things come up and DA wasn't able to make it. So Anthony and I are just going to walk around. And so if you see us, you will come up and say hey. Come say hey to us. We'll be walking around. Doc may still end up coming. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it or not because he had some family issues that come up, and I don't know if that's going to stop that now. But Anthony and I definitely will be there.
Okay. That's going to be a great conference. That's the one where David Politis is coming, right?
Yeah, I believe he's going to be there. Dr. Meldrum will be there.
Oh.
Who else is going to be there? I can't. I
when is that? April 20th? Man, I wish I could go to that one. 22nd?
Yep, Saturday.
Okay. Well, if anybody is in the Florida area, you guys go check that out. That's going to be a fantastic show. That'd be well worth the trip down to Florida.
Yep.
And to get to go hang out with you guys. That's going to be a lot of fun. I hope y'all have I hope y'all go Sasquatching, and I hope you have a bunch of activity. I hope you see orbs, and I hope you have some supernatural elements involved, so you can come back and report it back to us.
I just want to see Bigfoot and Dogman. That's all I'm really concerned about. If the other happens, fine, it happens. But I'm not. That's Bigfoot and Dogman are that's where my interest lies.
Okay.
Werewolves always been my favorite monster. So if there's actually Dogman out there, that's what I want to see.
Okay.
And people call me crazy for wanting to run into something like that, but I do.
You're prepared. No, I think that a lot of times people, I don't know any Dogman researchers that are, I mean, I know some, of course, but like Jody and Nick, I don't know. I don't know any personally, except for, well, Bob too, but like we don't go out there just looking for Dogman. We're out there usually just Bigfooting, going out there just to look for whatever's out there, because I don't know, Dogman, I don't know. Dogman just seems so violent, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times people just kind of happen upon a Dogman. In my experience, you know what I'm saying. So
if I had known,
a lot of people interested in him though.
If I had known quicker that he was up there, Nick was actually in North Carolina a couple weeks ago, and I didn't find out till he was already about ready to come back home. So I told DA to tell him next time he was anywhere around here, let me know so I could help him out because that's what Nick does.
That's right. Nick does do that, but he may he's a special type of human, man. Nick is he's built for that. Well, I think he's the Dogman hunter. So
you don't do the kind of job that I do if you're wired the same way most people are. I'm wired different than most people. Same thing with fire, military, EMS. We're weird. I mean, people just. Unless you do it for a living, you don't understand how weird we are. It's just that's just the way it is.
You are pretty weird, but I like it. You're a good kind of weird. And there are a lot of law enforcement, military people involved in the Dogman and the Bigfoot community. And it has to be because that's the way you're wired, I guess. I don't know. Most of the people on my teams, men and women, are current former military of some branch, or law enforcement, or firefighters, EMS. Not EMF. I was like starting to say EMF and S together. EMS. Okay, and first responders, search and rescue, all that kind of stuff. So it goes hand in hand with the research, So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if everybody would like to tune into the weirdness, y'all tune into DAX Machina tonight, and also tomorrow night I have a remote viewing show. I have remote viewed the Jersey Devil, which is really weird, and I've got Donnie Cho coming on with me tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern here at the Cryptid Huntress. So y'all tune in, and of course I've got Spaced Out Radio this weekend, Saturday and Sunday nights. I will be there. Okay, so y'all tune in. You will find Robby and I all over the internet. If you guys want to go watch our shows, just type in our names. You'll find us there. All right, Robby. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be tuning in tonight. Okay.
Thank you. We'll see
all right,
you
come back and see me. We'll make some more stories. We're gonna go out and do some more Bigfooting together sometime.
Oh, well,
okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, everybody, y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all tomorrow night. Bye.